I received an email from Gold Coast City Council to send in an expression of interest on my services and what I could do for their Canine Education Department on getting more education out there for dog owners to promote responsible dog ownership. Now, if you've watched enough of these videos, you know that if you consider yourself an owner, dog owner, or you're labelled as a dog owner, you're disconnected from your dog. Why? Because you are on a need basis, not a no basis. You need to have accountability forced onto you in order to be responsible with your pets, having them on leash, not letting them off leash, knowing how to be a good owner, not letting your dog bark, not letting your dog annoy neighbours, not letting your dog be aggressive to other people, not letting your dog off leash when you're out walking, not letting your dog do unpredictable things, which is basically wrapped up in the whole thing of not understanding what your dog is communicating to you, not understanding what your dog is communicating to other dogs, and not understanding how to basically read dog body language, decode dog body language, and also put yourself in the position of being a guardian for your dog. If you're a guardian rather than an owner, what you're going to do is you're going to have the mindset where you are a human being that is in a state of mind where you are looking out for the psychological and physical protection of your dog. So that means by taking precautions and taking preparations to make sure that your dog is safe from physical and psychological harm, you're also inadvertently providing that same courtesy to other people who have dogs. Because you recognise not so much that you need to do things, but that you know things. You're living in a know basis or a knowing basis. And when you're a guardian instead of an owner, you inherently understand these things. When you're an owner, you don't know, or you ignore, or you don't want to know simple, straightforward things that are basically antithetical to the way dogs live now. And that is that dogs were genetically manipulated, and they are still being genetically manipulated to want to be with you, the human, even over their own species. Dogs have the mental capacity and the intelligence of a 2-year-old child, a toddler. So why are dogs being left home alone for 18, 20 hours of the day, even on the weekends, without any human social contact? Because humans don't know that. Humans are on a need basis. They need their dog to stop barking, stop jumping, stop pulling on leash, stop being aggressive to other dogs, stop being reactive to other dogs. Yet at the same time, dog owners don't have any insight into the patterns of behaviour of their dog or what other dogs are doing. They just take things for granted that things are just going to work out in their favour. And that's another thing with respect to being a dog owner. You need to be educated. But this education isn't going to help you because you're not reconnected to your dog in the first place. So when you're a guardian, you are reconnected with your dog. That means you are coming from a state, and you're living in a state of being where you are trying to reduce and looking out for reducing not your own suffering in a situation where you're thinking, oh, my dog's barking all day, my dog's jumping up on other dogs, I can't teach my dog to listen to me, why isn't my dog coming to me when I call my dog? What you're doing is you're understanding all of the reasons and the situations that might actually cause your dog to perform certain behaviours or specific behaviours or the same behaviours in any given situation. What you're doing is you're being reconnected with your dog in a way that means you're not judging, blaming your dog, who has the mental capacity of a 2-year-old child and a limited ability to reason. When you're a guardian and not an owner, you recognise these things. And why do you recognise these things? Because your state of being is out of a lower-based, fear-based level of consciousness where you're in a need basis, where you're needing things to happen, you desire things to happen, you want things to happen your way. And so when you are looking at life like that, you're going to continue to suffer, but you're also going to cause your dog to suffer, and also other humans around you if they are listening to your dog barking all day because your dog is basically not being provided with what they need as a species, which can never be fulfilled because everything we do to dogs is antithetical to our lifestyle. That's why we have a breeding crisis. That's why we have a barking dog crisis. That's why we have a reactive dog crisis. That's why we have shelters that are full of neglected, surrendered, abandoned and abused animals, not just dogs. When you're reconnected with your dog or your cat or your horse or your fish or your guinea pig, you then bring yourself into an alignment with a higher level of consciousness where you understand the manipulation that animals undergo every day just to be in captivity under your control as a human being. When we really think about that and see how grotesque that is, then we start seeing things from a no basis rather than a need basis. We then understand that it's not education, it's not a list of things. Give your dog something to do, stop your dog from barking more than 3 minutes at a time, play with your dog. Those random, out of context statements about dogs, or one of the most interesting ones that I find that I still see on government websites is find out why your dog's barking or doing the behaviour that they're performing in the first place. Let's think about it. If you were genetically manipulated, forced to live in a certain open-air jail cell all day, every day for 12 to 15 years without the things that you need to express your species-related behaviour in order to gain emotional satisfaction, and the main one is human social contact because we have genetically engineered dogs to want to be with humans, can you see the absurdity and the grotesque state of circumstances that we have put an animal, another living species in because of our own need basis? So what I'm hoping that you can gain from this brief video is some wisdom on how to look at another species, not from your point of view, but from their point of view. And then when you start doing that, you reconnect with your dog. You start seeing the links and the fractals of all of the different environments and contexts and things that humans do, not just to dogs, but to every other animal species on the planet. And then once you finally get to that situation, we won't need people from the Gold Coast City Council to have to constantly send out expressions of interest to people like me to farm out the same sort of information for education purposes that does nothing but keep us stuck on the surface of what we're trying to improve. We'll talk again soon.